I want you guys to tell me if you think that this hypothetical scenario sounds like love. I'm going to use my ex, the dismissive avoidant, in this example. So I meet him, we get into the relationship, we fall in love. We have a wonderful relationship together. He's very kind and gentle. There are so many things I truly love about him. I love his family. We have a great time together. Because he's avoidant and I'm anxious, things start going wrong. We start having conflict. He starts pulling away. And at about the 1.5 year mark, he abruptly leaves the relationship. It is his choice. He wanted to leave the relationship and that's what he felt was best for him. What if I decided, you know what? I love him so much that I am not going to let him go. I mean, I can't control what he does physically with his life, but mentally, I'm not letting him go. I'm not going to abandon him like everybody else. I'm going to wait for him. I'm going to wait until the day he comes back because I know what's best for him. I know better than he knows what's best for him because I'm the person that loves him. But despite how long it takes, it could be forever. I'm going to wait for him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fixate on how much I love him. I'm going to think about it constantly and I'm going to try to reach out all the time. And even if I don't get responses, I'm going to stay fixating on this because the reason is I love him. Minutes, days, weeks, months pass where he's not reaching out. He's moving on with his life. And I am just every day fixated on him. I know he's going to come back. I love him. I'm the one for him. I'm not going to abandon him. Is that love? In the process of loving him, I can't focus on anything else in my life because I am so fixated on him. I don't know what he's doing. He's out there living his own life, but I am so fixated on this situation that it's very hard for me to engage in the rest of my life. I'm physically sick half the time. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm not pouring into myself. I'm not moving on. I'm just constantly obsessing over this because I love him. A lot of people don't like to hear this advice. That is not love. That is emotional dependency. In order to truly love someone, we have to love without any attachment to outcomes. About unconditional love, think about the way that like a healthy parent loves their child. No matter what that child does in their life, that parent will always love them. And that parent fosters autonomy in the child. That parent wants the child to learn who they are, their individual selves. That parent wants that child to go out in the world and learn lessons because that builds character and get into relationships and make mistakes and go to college and move out on their own and get married and do all these things that build their self-esteem and build on their independence. Think about those toxic enmeshed parents that are emotionally dependent on their children. Type of parents who don't foster the child's autonomy because they want that child bound to them at all times. Are overly attached to the things that the child does in their life. Everything the child does reflects on them and is like an extension of them. Don't let the child leave the house. They don't want the child to go to college. They don't want the child to get into relationships because they want the child with them at all times. That's not love. That is emotional dependency. It is the same way with our relationships. How is it love if in order to love that person, you have to completely lose yourself in the process? You tell yourself it's love, but the entire time you are losing yourself. You are completely abandoning your own needs, anything that feeds your soul. You're just abandoning that and focusing all on this person and fixating on the outcome. This person needs to be with me. I've done so many nice things for them. I've been so good to them. How dare they not be with me and choose to make a different decision? Now they're going to go be with some douchebags or some this or some that when they should really be with me. That's not a person that you love. That's a person that you are emotionally dependent on. Having them in your life is doing something for you, and that's why you cannot let go. And it's really hard to admit that. You think it's about love, you think it's about wanting to protect them and care for them and give to them because they've had so much trauma and this and that and this and that. That's not what it is. Nobody's that motivated. Nobody's that motivated for another person unless they are literally your child. You are getting something out of it. If you're not loving yourself, how the fuck are you loving someone else? Where's the love coming from? Where? It can't be coming from you because you don't even love yourself. See, the problem is the other person is also picking up on that energy. And here's the thing is you have anxious people who are too far in one direction of emotional dependency. So anxious people are extremely emotionally dependent on their partners. And then you have avoidant people who are way off on the other side, where avoidant people are hyper independent. So they don't put any attachment on the outcome at all. They are like 1 foot out the entire time. Where you want to be is right in the middle, where you have understood the law of detachment, where you are able to love someone without any attachment to outcomes. Truly loving someone means loving someone unconditionally. You love them whether or not they are actually in your life, whether or not you possess them. So a healthy way to love my ex, and this is what I'm learning, and I'm starting to feel this too, is that if I really loved him as a human being in this world, well, what he felt was best for him was to move on. He wasn't feeling happy in the relationship. And if I really love him, I want to let him go because he needs to. That's what he feels he needs. He needs to learn more life lessons. He needs to get out there. Maybe he needs to date some other people, experience some different things. He's not feeling happy with me. If I love him, I need to accept that and let him go. And I can still love him. I can still say, I love that person. I hope they're doing well. He was a special person to me. He was a huge part of my life. I wish him the best. But I'm not attached to any outcome. I don't love him only if he comes back to me. So I'm not fixated on that. That's not something that's even in my mind because I'm focusing on loving myself. And I see with a lot of anxious people is a refusal to let go. And it can be stemming from many different places too. It can stem from kind of a emotional dependency. It can also stem from like an anger or resentment. Like, how dare they leave me? How dare they do that? Everything they did was so unfair. They treated me like shit, blah, blah, blah. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Let go of the anger. Let go of the resentment. Let go of the outcome. Let go of the expectation. Let go. Let them live their life. Let them move on if that's what they want, okay? Detach from the outcome. Focus on yourself.